The West already imposed around 16,000 sanctions against Russia. It's a record by any standard. For refreshment, these are the sample Western leaders' statement when to unleash the sanctions. Since the end of Cold War, the West already performed 3 economic wars against Russia. The first was during President Bill Clinton era, which caused the Russia GDP decline 43%, hyperinflation and shortening lifespan of for year. It's truly disaster. The second time was on 2014, after Russia annexed Crimea. This time the sanctions is successfully weathered by Russia with minimal financial loss. And finally, the third war with unprecedented sanctions from the West with the aim to destroy the Russia economic by now. On contrary, in 2022, the Russia GDP only fell 2.1%. In 2023, the GDP grew 3.6%, and in 2024 predicted by IMF will grow 3.2%, higher than most of the West nation performance. How Russia achieved the victory against the collective West economic warfare. These are the list of methods enacted by Russia to survive the brutality of the West's sanctions. The oil and gas sector accounted up to roughly 34% of Russia revenue. It's the biggest revenue. It sells the oil and gas with discount price. The majority of it's bound to China, India, and other developing countries. Even the European countries still receive Russia's oil. How come? Many mafia networks involved in the transformation of illegal oil to the legal one. Most of the method is to blend Russian oil with legal oil and sell to any countries, include the European. Such an irony. Pivot to the east, especially China. China became the Russian largest trade partner by 2023. The trade volume reached the record-breaking of $227 billion, 26% increase from last year and predicted to keep growing. And the China trade also shot up with Russian neighbors like Belarus, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Georgia with open access to Russia. So, it simply can get all the necessity from the East, and if it want the West origin stuff, again it can use many smuggling network including mafia control networks scattered in Hong Kong, Turkey, UAE, Kazakhstan, etc. Just see this news. More than 100 components in the Orlan 10 drone that attack Ukraine are the West origin. Even the UK origin luxury car still selling in Russia. Russian central bank gold reserve stood at 2,350 tons by the end of 2023, made up around 26% of its reserves by IMF data. For 2023, Russia is the second largest producer of the gold with 324.7 tons behind China. Russia gold production has increased steadily since 2013. Most analysts agree that basically Russia were preparing for Western sanction. Why gold? Simple. Russia can use gold to perform any trade with any nation since it's no access to US dollar. Around $300 billion Russians' assets were confiscated by the Western. In early 2022, Russia pegged its currency ruble to gold, which 5,000 rubles to 1 ounce of gold. The West may not want Russian gold, but other will. The United Arab Emirates imported 96.4 tons of Russian gold in 2022. That's up 15 times from 2021 imports only 1.3 tons. Another big client is Switzerland, imported 75 tons of Russian gold in 2022, so with this policy, the ruble value is stabilized with the gold standard and the trade settlement can use ruble or gold for settlement. Grain and fertilizer is basic need and many nations depend on import food to survive. Russia is the world's top wheat exporter, controlling nearly 25% global grain market trade. Sell the grain and fertilizer to the global south as much as possible. This is the tagline. With this method, Russia is gaining more friends and share the Russia reason of Ukraine conflict. During early phase of Ukraine war with the Black Sea blockaded, the price of grains and fertilizer shot up, and once the blockade release, the Ukraine sell the majority of its grains to Europe. And this left the Russian fill the market in the global south even with lower price. It's even shipped 200,000 metric tons of free grain to 6 Africa countries in February 2024. Around 36 countries reliant on Russia and Ukraine for more than 50% of the wheat imports. So how come they can join the West to impose economic sanction on Russia? Basically, Russia is actively making friends in global South by using any opportunity. So it won't be a surprise if Russia become the first country to recognize Taliban formally. And recently, President Putin lent his support to the establishment of a BRICS grain exchange. Such a brilliant tactic to dislodge US dollar again? Currently, Russia focused to producing all the war-related material internally. This war economic activity comprise of around 10% of the Russia GDP and become the main driver for the economic growth. So, the war also has positive effect in economy front since it also absorb worker resources and with good salary then it can use to spend on other stuff. Compare with Ukraine, which have to depend on Western bailout and most of war material. This kind of economy is a big support to win the actual war in front line since it can keep sustain the availability of war material and create economy activity in internal Russia. The West think with the cut-off Russia from SWIFT system, Russia can't perform any financial transaction with its trading partners. However, it may be true for some extent. It's such hassle without SWIFT connection, but not the deadly blow. Currently, many alternative systems ready to replace SWIFT include from Russia internal product like mere payment system, cryptocurrencies, bilateral currency swap, the China payment system, etc. The number of payment system is keep growing since many countries also try to reduce the exposure to US dollar and it's accelerate by Western confiscation of Russian US dollar assets. Those are the methods that Russia used to tackle the Western sanction. With this victory, Russia show the economic power of the West are not as strong as before and the global South economic power is getting stronger. The soonest the Western realize the limitation of their power, the better for the peace of the world. Thank you for watching. See you in next video.